Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7, and I am back with the weekly verdict for this week's races. And if you are watching this on the live premiere, I will be in the chat watching this with you, so you can ask questions while I'm in there, because yeah, why not? Ask me any question you like within reason. But yeah, for Daily Race 8 we have Grand Valley in the Ferrari F40, 5 laps, standing start, which is a good thing. Standing start is always great for a daily race. I think it makes the race a little bit more fun. Grand Valley though, I think we've used this quite a lot of times. Let me know in the chat or in the comment sections what you think about the usage of the same tracks over and over again. I personally think PD really need to start using some of the tracks that are never used. As we have a little look at the mirror there, we've got a guy absolutely lagging his head off and ends up lagging me into the barrier. So not the best start for a daily race A. That's going to drop us all the way back down the grid to P12. So we're going to have to try and find our way through. But yeah, let me know what you think about these races with the variety. I think it's time PD really started to use some other tracks. We've been through in the live streams many a time, we've spoke about it with the tracks that are never really used on this game. And it's a shame because some of them were the most interesting and fun tracks on GT Sport that we used to get as a daily race. And we used to get them quite often, but for some reason PD seems scared to use them on Gran Turismo 7, and I really don't understand why that is. But maybe they're going to surprise us next week with some really good original tracks and really throw it out there. Maybe even some dynamic weather would be nice for a daily race C. But yeah, you can see in front of us here now we got P9 with the 5-second penalty. He's clearly took someone out quite drastically there with a 5-second penalty. We have a little look up the inside. We're not going to be able to make that move, and then into this next section of track. Now this car is very, very tricky. Like I say, understeer, oversteer, has literally every character of a car that you don't really want to have in a car. But that's why I think if it had softer tyres it'd be a bit more fun. But yeah, getting into the gears nice and early with this car will help you out. So third gear exits. Also using the gear shifts to rotate you. You can see into this corner, if you get it down to first gear, it will rotate you as well. You see how second gear just understeers quite badly, but if you get into first on that corner, you can kind of kick the rear out. So if you ever need a bit of rotation, just downshift this car and it will help you quite a lot. So working our way up into P8 now, fast forward the action on the straight, tricky right hand corner. That final corner is very tricky in this car. Most cars it's completely flat out, but in this it's very difficult. Braking extremely early for turn 1. The brakes on this car are not the best, so making sure you're getting on them brakes nice and early, and then again out of the exit. You can see how I'm using second gear, but really we should be using third gear for that better exit so you avoid the shift. Every gear shift with this car loses you quite a bit of time. But downhill here, just try and making sure the car does not understeer off the track. It's very, very difficult to drive. And this was, I think this was our first race. We just jumped into this with very little practice. As we go into this right-hander, Idaz there runs a bit wide. We're going to go up the inside of him, and now we're up into P7. So can we find the way through here? Very, very slow through this section with this car. Just got to let the car rotate, wait for that front end to eventually grip up, and now into this right-hand corner. Hitting the wall there can actually help you out. If you hit that right, it can actually help you out in that corner. You can clip it and almost rotate the car into the corner perfectly. But you can see here, we're having a little look up the inside. Can't really go for a send from this position. Too far back to go for a send with this car because it literally has no brakes. However, he brakes a little bit late, runs it wide. We're now going to go side by side. We're going to go up into third gear and see if we can get past that drive in P6. But yeah, my opinion of this race, it's reasonably fun, and it's actually quite intense when we had a race, I think another race on this, and after I've done this video, and it was pretty close at the front and it was reasonable, but I don't think it's the best daily race A we've ever had. I think it's the car being very difficult means the field spread is quite massive. If you look on the track map, you can see what I'm saying by the field spread. So you end up with just like a little bit of a boring race, I've got to be honest. I still hope we can go back to some really exciting Group B rally races for Daily Race A soon, because that was probably the best race we've ever had as a Daily A. So yeah, if you are listening, anyone at PD, or if you're in the chat, which is probably not going to happen, but you never know, Group B rally car races as a Daily Race A were a lot of fun. The Lego one was brilliant. We'd love that again. I think a lot of people would like that again. If you're in the chat watching this on the premiere, let me know. Would you like to see Group B back into Daily Race A for a week? I think it's been a while since we had that. It'd be quite a nice change to get back into them cars again for a Daily Race A on a nice short track. Doesn't have to be the same track we had last time, just something that's good for rally cars. But now going into lap 4, you can see here now P4 ahead of us, braking very early because you have to brake insanely early for this corner. Up into second gear and now going for that exit. Just being careful you don't hit the wall on the outside. You can see we get a much better exit than P4. Have a little look up the inside here, but we're going to have to be careful because it doesn't really give us much space there. So we have to back out a little bit. And now he's gone a little bit deep and wide so we can go around the right hand side. Just got to pick our braking point and brake very early for this corner. You can see he's braking a little bit too late there, and once you miss the braking on that section of track with this car, you might as well say goodbye to the corner because it's almost impossible to slow the car down. But that's us up to P4, and now we're on to the final lap, and we've got P3 with a penalty in front of us. So opportunity to get a podium here. He's got a penalty. He's going to lose a bit of time with the shifting when he takes that, so we're going to go up into third gear nice and early there, get on the power and push our way up here. So let's see what happens here. He's going to take that penalty. We're going to get in the slipstream. We're going to have a little look up the right-hand side or go down the left-hand side. He's going to cover the inside, but we're going to manage to send it around the outside with that first gear shift. You see how it rotates the car. And now we're on the outside. We're going to try and hold the outside. However, he just shoves us off. And yeah, I don't think he wanted us to take that podium, so he decided to just swing us into the wall there. But yeah, that happens in daily races quite a lot. But we'll take a P4. There's no DRSR on this race, so it's not the biggest problem. But it's a bit frustrating that he did that because it would have been a podium. But yeah, as a race, it's not one of my favourites. Let me know what you think I'm going to give this out of 10 in the comments there. But I personally think this is not the greatest combo we've ever had at the Daily Race A. It's not the worst, so it's a 6 out of 10 for me for Daily Race A. Again, I think Daily Race A could be a lot better this week. Next up, we have Daily Race B. And it's at Spa, which is a good track, and it's in Group 3, and it's 5 laps. It's actually a decent length race, so credit to PD for giving us a longer race in Daily Race B again. 11-minute race is brilliant. But again, it's the same issue with variety. I love Spa, one of my favourite tracks personally. However, it seems like we're getting this track too much. I think we need to have some of the other tracks on this game used. There's plenty of other tracks that could have been used for this Daily Race B with a long race like this, like Tokyo, Fuji. There's other tracks like that that we haven't used yet in the game that they could have took advantage for in this race and give people the opportunity to race. But yeah, Spa is still enjoyable. Everyone loves Spa. Well, a lot of people love Spa. I love Spa, so it's always going to be a fun combo. I'm in the Nissan GTR for this race. We are racing the Lamborghini in front of us. Good to see a decent variety of cars on this track, and also pretty good to see that the Supra is no longer massively overpowered at this combination. So it could actually, the new BOP seems to be working as intended with that Supra. It's still going to be strong on certain tracks, but it doesn't seem to be dominating like it used to. As P1 there gets a penalty in the Lamborghini, that is going to cost him quite dearly. All we need to do now is just stay behind him and wait for him to take that penalty. So try not to make any mistakes, just keep it as close as possible, and then try and get him in the penalty zone. So working our way through this really fast left-hand corner, just trying to get the angle in. Now, one thing I will say about this race, I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, is the grip levels for racing hard tyres seem really high. I don't think I've ever experienced Spa as grippy as this race feels. It's really weird. It could be something to do with the wind speed being quite low. It's obviously only 0.8 wind speed for Daily Race B. But yeah, it feels like the track's got a ton of grip on it. And I honestly thought it felt like we were on faster tyres than what we actually were. Obviously, the lap times are not that amazing when you're on the hards anyway, but it just feels a little bit easier than normal. So let me know what you think. If you've had a similar experience with this race, if you feel like there's quite high grip in this one, let me know. As we get ourselves back up to P1 here now, as the Lamborghini has took that penalty. And now we've got the Spanish driver going around the outside of the Lamborghini also and put himself up into P2. So fast forward the action here as we go through the chicane and over the start finishing line and through turn 1. And we're going to see that he's going to get closer and closer, and he's in that slipstream in that Nissan GTR. We're in the Nissan GTR also. Now we're going to stay in 5th gear because you don't want to go into 6th gear at this point. Just let the car rev out in 5th. And you can see they almost start matching each other, and we're just about going to hold it onto the inside. Can we hold it in the braking zone? Brake a little bit later, hold the apex, and keep ourselves in P1. But yeah, this has actually been quite an enjoyable combination for races that we've had here. I've had quite a few good races, and we've only done a few of these races so far. So yeah, Daily Race B is definitely probably the best race of the week, I would say, in terms of enjoyment. 5 laps, Spa. It seems to work. Even if you make a mistake in this race, it actually gives you the opportunity to fight back. Normally in Daily Race Bs, you make a mistake and that's your race over. But in this one, with it being 11 minutes, it's worth sticking around and just carrying on racing. As the Lamborghini again, getting very close behind us. Now we've got the Lambo behind us. Will the Lamborghini be able to out-drag the Nissan GT on the straight? So again, in 5th gear, staying in 5th. And again, the Lamborghini is going to have a similar problem to most other cars. Like when you get alongside, it's going to struggle on that top end. But he did get a little bit further ahead. He tries to hold it around the outside, but again, we've managed to hold that inside and keep on to the lead in this race. And like I say, this race has been enjoyable. I've actually enjoyed the races that I've done here this week so far. So yeah, it's clearly one of the best. I'd say it's the best race of the week in my opinion. Now obviously it has no strategy, but Daily Race B never has strategy. We have a massive moment there on the curb, but just about saved that. So yeah, Daily Race B never has strategy. It's always a sprint race, but it's good to see a sprint race that actually you can fight back on. And also the variety of cars seems pretty good for this track. So it's not just a one-make race, it's quite a few different cars that you can use and battle with. So that's quite exciting to see for a change on Daily Race B. But we're going to hold on to this, starting lap 4. Lamborghini right behind us there, not getting the best exit off that corner though. And now again, we're going to see if we can hold on the long straight with the slipstream. So turn 1, trying to get a good exit off this corner. It's really important. Braked a little bit too late there, you can see. Missed the braking point, run a little bit wide onto the curb. And now that Lamborghini is going to be in a very good position to go for a move. So will he be able to get it done this time? Now, keep an eye on my gears. I think this is where I make a big mistake with the gearing. I think I went into 6th gear for some random reason. I just totally, baffling why I did it. But we go into 6th gear there at 156. If we would have stayed in 5th, he would have had no chance of getting alongside us. So you can see I actually back downshifted to 5th because there was no acceleration in 6th. And you can see he's managed to go around the outside. We're going to try and hold the inside again though. He holds around the outside. We're going to then try and go back up the left-hand side. Good racing going on. But he's made that move. Good move by the Italian in the Lamborghini. So up to P1 for that driver. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep on and see if we can get back past that position and get ourselves back into P1. So staying with him all the way through here. And then into this left-hand corner. Just try and stay as close as possible. So yeah, it's good racing. That's the thing. This is what you want to see. Good racing, good battling between different cars as we skip a little bit further on in the race to the start of lap 5. And you can see we've managed to stay right behind that Lamborghini. So had a little look up the inside and decided to just actually go for it because he missed the braking. Gives us a chance to get the move done before the straight. Now we've got that move done. He is obviously going to have the slipstream, but he's a lot closer to our car now. And I'm not going to go into 6th gear. So I'm going to stay in 5th gear as we go through these corners. And just try and out-drag him into the braking zone. So stick the car to the right-hand side of the track. Do not let him think about getting up the inside because that's where you can get moved on. So now it's just a drag race. This time we're staying in 5th gear and you can see the difference. We're now going to get up to 160 or around about that speed in the braking zone. So hit the brakes as late as possible. Hold the inside this time and he's not able to get himself back up into the lead. So now we've just got to try and hold on to this position. Theo's joined the party there behind us in the Nissan GTR and he's going to hopefully put some pressure on that Lamborghini and see if he can get past him. So that'll be helpful if he can put him under pressure and give myself a little bit of a gap as we work on our way through this section. Just trying to find that grip. This corner, trying to get the left-hand side just up onto the curb and then working our way into this really fast left-hand corner. Just going past the 50 board, braking just past that 50 board, chuck it in 4th gear. And now on the front, and you can see in the mirror there, Theo making the move on the Lamborghini, putting himself up into P2. As we fast forward through this section, you can see there Theo getting a little bit closer with the slipstream, but he's not going to be close enough to go for a move. He's half a second back in this straight now. He's going to get a little bit closer as we work into the braking zone, but we should be able to hold on for a win in this Daily B. So let's see if we can manage that into the braking zone. Theo's getting closer here. A little bit closer, but we're going to brake just past that 150 board, in between the 150 and the 100, and then just hit that apex nicely. You can see we've managed to hold on for a win in Daily Race B. So yeah, good combo, good amount of laps. Credit to PD for giving this race 5 laps at Spa in Group 3. Makes a big difference. I much prefer that. But again, can we have some different tracks used on this game for daily races? It doesn't always have to be Spa. It doesn't always have to be Grand Valley. It doesn't always have to be, you know, the tracks that we have every week. But I'm going to give that 8 out of 10. What do you lot think in the chat? If you're watching on the live premiere, what would you give that race? Also, you know, if you're watching it as a video, let me know in the comment section what you would give this race. So we're going on to Daily Race C now. And we are at Nurburgring GP. And again, a good track. Group 4, Nurburgring GP. The biggest problem with this race is it's a hard tyre only race. They do have mediums available, but they're not mandatory. And that one mistake that PD have made there has probably turned this race into one of the best races of the week into a bit less interesting no stop on hard tyres. It is still fun to race. It's enjoyable. In this race we're starting from P9. We haven't set a lap time and we're just going to see where we can get to, and it is fun. I have to say we've had some really good intense races and some good racing, side-by-side action in this combo. It's been quite entertaining. However, I do think that if they would have put the medium tyres on as compulsory as well, this would have been amazing for the amount of different strategies that you could have done, whether you start on the medium, whether you start on the hard tyre, when you pit, whether you fuel save, whether you don't fuel save, as we're going to go for a move up the inside of P9 there and try and hold around the outside here. Tiny bit of contact, but no real harm done, and now onto the power and use the slipstream of P7 to put ourselves up into P8. So nice move there done in the Subaru, and the Subaru does seem to be the better car for this race. It's got really good fuel savings. So Subaru, Ferrari, Jaguar, all usable, but for me the Subaru with the traction out of some of the corners just gives you a nice amount of ability to save fuel, because you can get in them higher gears a little bit earlier as well. Working our way through here, very, very difficult to get an overtake done. We're going to have two Ferraris in front of us. Which one do we go? We go with the inside one, help him through there, and hopefully we can squeeze through as well. You can see there, up on the inside, give him space on the outside, and now we're going to try and go round the outside of that white Ferrari, which we've managed to do, and now up into P7 in this race. But yeah, it's a good combo in terms of car and track. It's enjoyable to drive. I just really wish PD would be a bit more adventurous with the settings in terms of, you know, medium tyres as well as the hard tyres. Now keep your eye on the mirror there. I think this white Ferrari completely misses his braking in. Credit to that white Ferrari. A lot of people would have tried to make the apex and just went straight into the side of me or Danny in front of us, but he actually went to the left and avoided any contact. So credit to that driver for doing it like that and making sure no contact was done. That's always good to see when someone misses their braking like that. So yeah, unlucky for that driver. We're now up to P6, working our way through the field, and now we're going to skip a little bit further on to lap 3. You can see there we're right behind P5 now, another Subaru in front of us. You can see the fuel. One thing I will say as well is don't pay too much attention to the laps remaining. You need to use around about 11% of fuel a lap. So as long as you're using that, you're in good position. It kind of gives you a false read in that laps remaining, because on the last 3 or 4 laps it goes up and starts to level off. So yeah, don't worry too much if it says 6.7 when you go over the line, because technically we were fine there. We had well enough fuel based on 11% of fuel a lap. So that's what I look at rather than worrying about what it says by the 6.4 etc. As we managed to get ourselves up into P4 there, hold the inside. Can we hold on to that P4? The Ferrari gives the Subaru a little bit of a nudge there, and yeah, we're away from them and skipping to lap 4. And you can see there starting to pull away from the cars behind, and now we've got a bit of clean track. We've got a car in front of us that has took a penalty, so you are going to see a few penalties on this combination. It is quite easy to pick up the little half seconds here in the 1 second, especially with the chicane, which you have to cut, because you have to really attack this chicane. You can see there you have to aim for the center of your car to hit that bollard. That's the best way to do the chicane. So into the final corner, P3 in front of us, goes a little bit deep. That's going to give us a chance to get a nice run up this straight. Can we pick up the slipstream? We're not going to go into slipstream yet because we would have hit him. So now we can go into that slipstream, and now we can go for a move as we go over the line with the fastest lap of the race, and about to put ourselves up into a podium position from starting from the back with no lap time. So yeah, it's been okay so far. It's all about fuel saving though this race. You might be noticing I'm shifting very early in the Subaru, so that's how I'm doing my fuel saving. Shifting, so coming out of some of the corners, you'll see I go into like higher gears very early, like there, into 4th gear super early. You'll see it quite a lot, getting into them gears nice and early, letting the gears accelerate us out of the corner. So again, you'll see me go into 4th gear here, nice and early, before you even see any revs, and just let it carry us out of that corner. And then 5th gear very early as well. So we're going to get the slipstream from P2 and get ourselves up a position here towards the end of the race. And now we've just got 1 and a bit laps to go. You can see we've done a 2:04.7 on lap 7, so pretty strong pace at the moment as we're catching up to P1, who's also in that Subaru, but has obviously started from the front of the field. So 1 lap to go. We've got reasonable fuel left on the car. Can we get reasonably close to P1? It looks like he's got reasonable fuel as well, because you can see the lap times he's doing 2:04.5 on that lap. We also do a 2:04.5 on lap 8. So some very strong pace that we're doing here. We've got easily enough fuel. You can see we had 12% left in the fuel, and you can see we still got 2% as we come to the end of the lap. And again, we're going to go over the line. I think a reasonable lap. Ran a bit wide on the final corner, lost a bit of time, but a 2:04.5 again, and we actually take the fastest lap of the race right at the very end there. So yeah, enjoyable in terms of driving the track. I just wish there was some strategy in this race. It definitely misses it. With the fuel saving, it could have been one of the best. So I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. Let me know if you agree with that in the chat if you're watching this live. But let me know what you think overall, because I'm about to give you my verdict for the whole week's races. And again, it's a bit of an average week, I think. Daily Race B is the saviour for this week. 7 out of 10. I would have probably give this a little bit lower if it wasn't for Daily Race B. I probably would have given this 6.5, but Daily Race B saves it with the fact that they use 5 laps. Fingers crossed PD are going to be listening or paying some attention and going to give us some better races soon. We really need a strong week of daily races next week. So PD, come on, pull your finger out. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know in the chat there if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll be back with more of these in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.